Yo, what's good people, it's JayCactus, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make and think of melodies, so you're not just drawing in random notes and hoping for the best. The main things that I'm going to be going through are chord progressions and scales, but I'm going to make it real simple for you. I'm also going to be doing a free giveaway this video for the new pack that I just dropped, which is the Action Pack. It's 20 loops with stems which are all cinematic, quite intense, perfect for drill or trap beats. I think it's my hardest pack yet, so make sure you watch the full video because at a random point I'm going to pop up and tell you how to enter. But let's get into it. Alright, so when I first started music production, I didn't really know anything about music theory. I didn't know how to translate my ideas into FL. All I was doing is just clicking in random notes, just like this, thinking that I was drawing chords, and then I'd select like random melodies, draw some more chords, and then I'd get a piece of shit like that. And then when I took some piano lessons to find out how scales worked and how chords were made, it helped with everything. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go and take piano lessons because a lot of the stuff that I learned in them lessons are unnecessary now, which is why I stopped taking lessons. But some of the stuff that I learned, especially the basic music theory, helped a lot. So I'm going to try and break everything down for you. So if you've seen my beginner's guide to making drill melodies, then I taught a bit of music theory in that. But for anyone that hasn't seen it, I'll go through it again a bit now. So first thing that I want to talk about is scales. Now, a scale is basically a group of notes that we've decided sound good together. That's all it is. It doesn't mean that you have to stick within the scale. A lot of the times people go out of the scale, but that is a little bit more advanced. So in today's lesson, I will just kind of stick to scales. Now, the two main Western scales are just major and minor. When you're looking in FL, minor will come up as Aeolian. It's just another name for natural minor. So just focus on natural minor and major for now. Now, before I show you the patterns, you need to know how a keyboard works. So if I drop on any note, I'll just drop on C. If I go up just one note, that's known as a half step or semitone. Now, anywhere on the keyboard, so if I drop it on F sharp here, if I come down one, that's a half step or semitone. Same going up. And then same with E and F. You can see there's no note in between, so that's still a half step or semitone. You can call it either one. Now, a natural major scale goes like this. I'm going to start on C. It goes tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And that's gone from C to C. So all the notes that are pressed within that scale just then make up the C major scale. It's that simple. And it literally works for any note. So if I drop it on, let's just go to D. Same again. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That was D to D. And all the notes within that make up the D major scale. So once you understand that, you can now focus on minor scales as well. Now, every major scale has a relative minor scale, and it's real simple. So I'm going to start with C again. So when we worked out the C major scale, all you need to do to work out its relative minor is to go down 3 semitones. So I'm on C right now, right? So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. So now I'm on A. And this basically means that A minor has all of the same notes as C major. So basically all of the white notes for C major and A minor. That's all that it means. But if you wanted to work it out with a pattern, then I'm going to start on A. And the pattern to work out any minor scale is like this. Tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. So you saw again all the white notes. So that's all it is. So A minor has all the same notes within the scale as C major. The only difference is we're starting at a different point, and that's what makes it sound different. So any minor scale tends to sound sad, and any major scale tends to sound happy. But really in FL, you don't even have to remember these because you can turn on the scale highlighting. So I'm going to come up here to this arrow, go to helpers, scale highlighting, and then I'm just going to go to minor, natural. And now I can come back up here, go to helpers again, scale highlighting, and I'll just show you on A first because that's the simplest one. So look, all of these highlighted notes make up the A minor scale. So I'm just going to draw them in so you can see it a bit more clearly. And then it goes back to A. So when you're working in a scale, you'll tend to just use these notes throughout the melody and you won't really step into these other ones. When you're a bit more advanced, you can step out of the scale when it sounds right, but for now, just stick within the scale. And look, if I show you again with the pattern, you'll see that it matches the highlighted notes. So I'm starting on A and I'm going tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. Same with the C major scale. So look, I'm just going to draw in these extra 2 notes, start from C. And remember the pattern for a major scale was tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. All the same notes. It's that simple. Now let's move on to chords. So a chord is basically a group of notes played together. That's probably the simplest way of putting it because I don't want to confuse you too much. So for example, that's a C major chord. Now there's also a technique to finding any major or minor chord. So to find out a C major chord, we're going to start on C. And the pattern is to go up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then go up 3. 1, 2, 3. So now I've got a C major chord. The pattern for any minor chord is like this. So to find a C minor chord, we're going to start on C and then just go 1, 2, 3, and then up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's minor. So the only difference is the middle note. Major, minor, you're just dropping it down 1. So that's good to know, but notice that the C minor chord isn't in the C major scale. Now I don't want to go into that too much today. I don't want to confuse you because I just want to go through chords, scales, and then building melodies. So if you wanted to build any chord within the C major scale, the easiest way to do it is just to place a note and then skip a note and then place it on the next one. So I'm going to place one on C, skip D, go to E, skip F, and go to G. Now I've got a chord, and you can do that with any of them. So I could start on D, skip E and go to F, skip G and go to A. So these are all chords within the C major scale. Now what you need to know before we go into chord progressions is that every note within the scale has an assigned number. So if we're in the C major scale, C is the first one, D is the second, E is the third, F is the fourth, G is the fifth, A is the sixth, B is the seventh. So most Western scales have 7 notes within the scale. So a chord progression is basically a series of chords played in a sequence, and it's pretty much the foundation of any song. So any song that you listen to will have a chord progression behind it. So just to give you a quick example of a chord progression, one of the most common ones in music is 1, 5, 6, 4. You'll usually see it in Roman numerals, but just to show you what that would look like. So remember, each note within the scale had a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So to work out the chord progression 1, 6, 5, 4, we're going to go. So the first one is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4. So this is our chord progression 1, 6, 5, 4. And usually chords revolve around the bass note. So I'm just going to drop these down a few octaves. An octave is basically going from C5 to C4 and then down to C3. So I'm going to drop it down. So that's our chord progression, right? That's the foundation. So now I'm just going to build chords on top of these. So starting from C, I'm just going to copy these. I've just pressed Control and A, Shift and click, and then Control and up. I'm just bringing these up 2 octaves. And now I can build chords with these. So remember, I'm just going to skip one, draw one here, skip another one, draw one there. I'm going to do the same for all of these. Right, so now this is a real basic chord progression. So you can hear that that's like a pop chord progression, but we're out here making drill and trap, so I'm not really going to go with that. When you're making something like drill or trap, then you want something in like a minor scale, and you want the majority of the chords to be minor chords. So let me break it down for you. Alright, so you also need to remember that within any scale, there will be major and minor chords. I know it's getting a little bit confusing now, but I'll try and simplify it for you. So this is our C major scale, and I just know that every second, third, and sixth note has a minor chord in it. So let me show you. So look, the second one is D. I'm just going to bring it over here. Now to make a chord, I'm going to skip this note in the scale and move up to this one. And then same again. So this is a D minor chord, because remember, we're just going up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same with the third. Let me show you quick. So the third is E. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another minor chord here. Alright, so my progression is going to be 6, 3, 4, 3. Alright, I'm just saying 4 numbers. It doesn't always have to be 4 numbers, but that's just what I'm going with now. So if I'm working in C major, it's going to be 6, 3, 4, 3. So 6, 3, 4, 3. I'm going to start with bass notes because all chords revolve around the bass notes, and I'm going to double these up so I can start building some chords. So same process. I'm just going to skip one and then add one, skip one and add one. Do this for all of them. And these are just real basic chords. And you'll notice because I chose them numbers like 6 and 3, I'm getting more minor chords. So look, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got A minor chord here, E minor chord, F major, and then it comes back to E minor. So it's sounding nice. But let's say you want to change the scale now because you're not really feeling C major or A minor. So you want to transpose it to, let's say, F sharp. So now all I'm going to do is take everything by pressing Control and A, and I'm just going to press it down 1, 2, 3. Now all the notes have come down 3 semitones, and that's all transposing is. So now look, if I come up here, go to helpers, scale highlighting, and then I'm going to set it to minor this time. So minor natural, and then F sharp. You can see all of the notes are in the scale because we transposed it. Now if we play it, it's going to sound different. Now we can start thickening the sound. So I'm going to copy these up. It's just the same note, but an octave up. Starting to sound a little bit thicker, a bit warmer. And now I can play around with inversions as well. So inversions are basically a bit easier if I show you. So say for example, I take one of these notes, the C sharp, and bring it down an octave. It's still the same chord. It's still the F sharp minor chord, but the C sharp has been inverted. So before, after. And you can do that with any of the notes. You can play around with it. You could move this one up. So just play around with the chords, play around with the inversions until you find the progression that you like. You can even add more notes to the chord, so you can just continue the process. I'm just going to skip one and go up another one. I basically just doubled this up. So now I've got a nice thick chord. I might do the same with this one. You could even move some of the notes around. I might put this one up one. I could double this D up and bring a note up here. Same with the C sharp, bring that up here. So thank you for watching this far, and to enter the free giveaway, all you need to do is drop a comment and let me know which chord progression you're going to try next and with which instrument. So for mine it was 6-3-4-3 with a piano. Let me know what yours is and I'll select a couple random winners next week. So I could turn this into a sick melodic trap beat. And one of my subscribers actually said, can you do a tutorial making an internet money type of beat? So hearing this, I can probably turn this into one of them trap beats. So now from here, I think that I can make the chords a little bit more interesting. So what I could do is start slicing some of the notes. So I'm going to press C and then just start cutting some of the notes. Maybe this one here, this one here. Or I could bring this slice up. You just got to play around at this point. See what your ears are telling you. You could even slice two notes. Continue that same kind of pattern. Maybe bring this one up again. Might actually cut this note and then just extend these. So then at this point, you just want to have a listen and think of a melody in your head, and that's when you can start cutting the notes. So now if I'm listening, I might just want to add a couple more notes. So I'm hearing something going a bit higher. The pitch was probably wrong there with my voice, but I could play around. So I like that. Now if I left this 4-bar, it would get way too repetitive, so I'm just going to press Ctrl and B. It's copied it across, and now I want to do something different towards the end. So now literally just use your ears, even close your eyes and think of a count melody. Try and hum something in your head before you start clicking in the notes. That's the key. Just play it back, try think of something in your head, and then work out where the notes go. Because now that you're working in a scale and you've got that chord progression, it should be easier to think of a count melody. So now when I'm playing it, I'm thinking... So the notes from my voice were probably wrong, but I've got the general idea of the melody in my head, so now I need to work out where those notes go. So I know it was going higher because I wanted it like... So... So maybe it was this twice? Nah. Yeah, that was it. And then this repeated. Alright, so now we've got a chord progression, we've got the count melody. Now we need to make it sound a little bit more realistic. So I'm just going to press Alt and R, and that's going to randomize the velocity and give it a more realistic feel. So now if I play it, much smoother. Alright, Alright, so I know the explanation of this melody has been quite long, but I want you all to understand chord progressions, how scales work, and then how to think of melodies instead of just clicking in random notes. So instead of showing you the whole beat now, I'm just going to skim through it and then I'll show you what I'll come up with. Alright, so I finished the beat and honestly I made a perfect internet money type beat. This could easily be on radio, so let me just show you what I did. So I took the piano melody and copied it into an expand instrument and used that for the intro, and I'm just going to play the beat and then I'll go through it after. So I've used some short staccato strings.
JayCactus.
So when the pianos come back in. Just to quickly talk you through it, I've done a few things. So obviously I copied the piano melody, and then in some of the patterns I just made the melody a little bit more simple. So for example, if I click in here, you can see that I've taken away some of the notes just because I wanted to save that counter melody for different parts of the song. I didn't want to play everything right at the start. So you can see here, it's a simple version in the strings. So you can see that count melody is there in the piano, but not there in the strings. But then in this part, they come back in. It just switches it up. And then it goes simple again for the verse. And then this part here, this is just to give people a little teaser of the strings that are coming in. So I basically just copied it, but then chopped it up. So you can see that we just started from that piano melody at the beginning, but we used that to create counter melodies and we used it to chop it up just to add more variety in the beat. So I haven't really done anything special for the strings. I've just used the same melody but chopped them up and then put them in different places just to give people a little teaser before the hook. And then with the drums, the main thing that I've changed is the 808, because I think when you switch the 808 pattern, it just adds a lot more to the track and it just stops it becoming too repetitive, because a lot of the time when we make beats we keep the same pattern and then people just get used to it real quick and then they get bored. But once you switch things up, it keeps the listener real interested. So I hope you liked the video and I hope you were feeling the beat. I know music theory can be a little bit boring, but trust me, when I found out these techniques myself, it changed everything for me. So hopefully you found some value in it, and if you want more tutorials like this where I go a bit more in depth in music theory, then let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, definitely check out the new loop kit which me and my boy Nash have dropped. It's 20 cinematic and intense loops, all with stems, and you can use them for drill, trap beats, movie scores, anything. The loops are hard, so definitely check that one out. And I'll see you next time.